For the third straight game, the Raptors keep it ultra competitive in the first half, but taper off gravely in the second half and lose by double digits here to the Orlando Magic. Let's break down everything you need to know about this game in tonight's post-game show. Reminder, guys, we do post-game shows like this, and we do live streams on the main channel for every Raptors game. So wherever you're watching this, if you do like what you see, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel to keep up to date with all the great content we have. We have another one of these coming on Sunday as the Raptors once again take on the Orlando Magic. But drop a like if you enjoy this one along the way. And yeah, it's kind of tough to do these post-game shows every game when the game kind of goes the same way. Not quite the same as, I guess, the other two this week. You know, Monday, you're up 22 against the Nuggets and lose. Wednesday, you're up 16 against the Pistons and lose. And then today, they're up 8 early on. They were close at halftime, granted. Like, you know, they were down by 2, but a competitive first half. And we were kind of asking ourselves, okay, is this going to be another one where you're ultra competitive first half and taper off as the game goes on? And that was kind of the case today. You know, we're happy the Raptors are keeping things competitive. You know, that 22-point blown lead to Denver stings, but hey, you had a 22-point lead against the defending champs, one of the best teams in the NBA. That's impressive considering the guys that are out for this team. You know, the Pistons won. You know, you kept it competitive. Kind of sour to lose like that to the Pistons, but you know, at the very least, even despite the loss, you know, they were competitive. They played pretty decently. We understand the guys that are out here, but as it was, you know, you lose by 6 to the Nuggets, you lose by 9 to the Pistons, you lose by 10 over here for this one. I don't know, not much more to say. It's tough. The Raptors are keeping competitive, and that's great. And that's all we can hope for at this point. Competitive losses helping with the tank. The Raptors keep their spot here. They are now 23-44. And hey, guess what? It's not updated here in the Tankathon yet, but the Raptors at 23-44 are now tied with the Memphis Grizzlies for the 6th worst record in the NBA, and that's just only going to help with the draft pick. If you guys are unaware, the Raptors have about a 31% chance of keeping their pick as the 7th worst team in the NBA. As the 6th worst team in the NBA, they jumped to 45%. And honestly, it's not out of the equation for them to drop enough to catch the Portland Trailblazers in this tank race. But regardless, losses are good overall for this team, but being competitive in the process is good as well. Many people have argued against the Raptors tanking as you want to build good habits. You want to work on development. You can't really do that when you're losing games. But hey, the Raptors have been losing games, and I feel like there's value still coming out of it for a lot of players. Today, maybe not quite as much on the offensive end because Orlando are such a good defensive team. The Orlando Magic are 4th in the NBA in defensive rating. They've been just pesky all season defensively. They are 1st in the NBA in allowing the least amount of shots to their opponents. They play with a limited amount of pace, and they play stingy defense. And the Raptors were treated to that. Like, it was a 2-point game at halftime, but the Raptors only had 48 points. And it was kind of a question of whether or not they would actually reach 100 today. Now, they did, but when Orlando turned it on, they pulled away. The Raptors were down by, I think it was close to double digits, went on a big run, went up 69-67, and then Orlando went on a 20-4 run, and that's where the game completely went away from us. But as to be expected, the Raptors were 8.5 point underdogs here and kept relatively competitive, largely down to the very impressive display overall from Gary Trent Jr., but they just got outclassed in the end, and eventually the cracks in the foundation revealed themselves. So let's take a look at the box score here, see how it all went down. The Raptors go, team stats here. I want to start with the shooting percentages. Orlando gradually increased at a more exponential rate than the Raptors did. Overall, the offense in the first half, like it was 50-48, it wasn't great. Both teams kicked on, but it was Orlando who hit that higher gear, finishing with a 50% field goal percentage, shooting 45% from 3. They end the game with 52 points in the paint as well. Raptors go 47% from the field. That really climbed because the Raptors were like 39% from the field to start the game. They climb up to 47% from the field. They stayed mostly around 40 from 3 all game, end at 41%. But yeah, Orlando kick on and win this game. Orlando don't out-rebound us. They don't force more turnovers, but It's a make or miss league here, and it seems as though Orlando just in the ascendancy a little bit, getting a little bit more out of their offense overall than the Raptors did, and that was enough to get this team to win. Orlando are going to be that stingy defensive team, and they showcased that, and if it wasn't for the performances of Gary Trent Jr., perhaps this one goes away quicker. Gary Trent really has improved as the season has gone on. 31 points, 10 of 17 from the field, 7 of 11 from 3. Great stuff from Gary Trent here. 4 rebounds, 0 assists, which is kind of funny. Absolute bucket getter tonight. But elsewhere, it wasn't the most impressive play from the starters. Orlando have a good starting 5. Good defensively, as I said. The cracks are more revealed from the bench units, but also from the starters Raptors. Kelly goes 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Not horrible. Quickly, 10 points on 3 of 9 shooting. Not great, but 10 assists. His playmaking getting better. Abaji is not hitting threes, but getting maybe some improvements from cutting. Like, he's really got to start hitting his threes. He was 0-3 from 3 in this one, but maybe some improvements on the way. Gradey Dicks, this was one of his worst performances in a while. 8 points, 3 of 9 shooting, 0-3 from 3. Minus 32, man. That is brutal for Gradey Dicks in just 23 minutes. On the bench minutes, though, we had some positivity. Like Bruce Brown had 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and a steal. One of his better nights as a Raptor. Jordan Nwora had that electric spell in the third quarter. Ends plus 11 for the Raptors with 14 points, 3 of 5 from 3. Porter, I actually thought, even despite the 0-4 showing, no points, I actually thought he looked pretty good. Defensively, he had 3 steals, 2 blocks. Had some nice passing and setup plays for 4 assists. Was nice. Jamias Ramsey, a decent recovery after not playing so well against the Pistons. 10 points from him, 5 rebounds. Good energy coming off the bench. And the bench got us a good run in the second quarter. Got us a good run in the third quarter. And overall, it kept the team mostly competitive. And at this point in the season, that's all we can really hope for. So once again, we talk about the tank. You look at the playoff picture, like the Raptors are far out of it at this point. It's very clear that it's more likely the Raptors the Raptors fall far enough and have a chance of getting their pick. Like, even as a bottom 7 team, 31% chance of keeping their pick. It's clear that 31% chance of using their pick, that's greater than the percentage chance of making the play-in tournament. So the right decision has been made. And for the people suggesting that, you still want to get stuff out of these games, you want to try and win games, I'm watching the games here, and I think there's still value that's coming out of it. It's tough. It must suck to keep losing games here. Absolutely. I can't really imagine what it's like in those locker rooms, but it's 6 games in a row they've lost, 8 of the last 10, and they're right there in the mix. 3.5 games up on Portland, tied with the Memphis Grizzlies, now reflected here on Tankathon. And, as the season wears on here, well, the remaining strength of schedule will provide a little bit of insight here. The Raptors, they played the Pistons now. They have the 11th most difficult remaining schedule in the NBA. Not a lot of wins going to come. Memphis, 16th now. So there's going to be some difficult games in the way from the Raptors. It's going to be a grind for the rest of the season, but hopefully it's all worth it for that pick at the end of the season. If not, hey, development still came out of it, and they gave themselves an opportunity to use that pick. It is what it is. But I'm not going to walk away from a game like this overall super disappointed. I know who's out. I know the situation's going on with the team. I just want them to stay competitive and make the games somewhat watchable as possible, and I feel like they were able to do that today. So that'll do it for today's post-game show. Kind of repeating stuff from previous streams, but that's just the case with the Raptors as it is right now. It is what it is. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more Raptors content just like this, and I'll see you on Sunday as Raptors once again take on that Orlando Magic group.